One of the things that happened in my life is that the idea of the movie critic, that is gone. Movie critics are now just man babies complaining that movies aren't like they used to be. Everything's woke now. And the common refrain from these guys is go woke, go broke. And for years now, they've been peddling this narrative. And the narrative is basically that the majority of Americans are sick and tired of all this woke nonsense being crammed down their throats. That's why all these Disney movies are flopping. And then what Americans really want is just good, old-fashioned, apolitical entertainment. That's why Top Gun was such a big hit. And that's why they full-throatedly embrace this idea of like Tom Cruise is the last true movie star, right? And this narrative has always kind of had a bunch of holes in it. A bunch of movies that are pretty damn woke have done pretty damn well at the box office. They just kind of tend to ignore that or rewrite history. Like when the Super Mario movies trailer came out, they were like, Peach is an insufferable girl boss, woke, woke, woke. And then it was a huge hit, and they're like, actually, it was not woke at all. It was the least woke thing. But Peach was the same in the movie as she was depicted in the trailer. She was a girl boss in the movie, just like she was a girl boss in the trailer, but all of a sudden that wasn't woke, you know? So they just rewrote history. Into the Spider-Verse, pretty goddamn woke movie, big hit. The Batman movie, The Batman with, what's his face? Big hit, pretty damn woke, a lot of woke stuff in there. So a bunch of movies that were pretty woke were hitting big at the box office, but none of them were super woke. None of them were like way overtly woke. But like a confluence of factors have happened recently to just blow these guys' narrative like completely out of the water. The Barbie movie has been a huge, gigantic, mega hit. And it is apparently one of the wokest goddamn things ever. The word patriarchy is in the movie like 700 times. Ben Shapiro did a 42-minute review excoriating it. And this thing has been a huge hit. Ben Shapiro, by the way, predicted that the sales of the movie would fall off after the initial weekend because as audiences get wind of how woke it is, they'll reject it. They haven't. The movie has been a huge, mega, super hit, right? It's destroying at the box office. Theaters are full. Everybody's loving this freaking flick. And it's super woke. So at the same time, the new Tom Cruise, completely apolitical Mission Impossible Part 58 came out. And it has been a pretty big disappointment at the box office, so much so that it was basically shoe in for a sequel, and now the idea of the sequel happening is in question, not just because of the writer's strike, but because the box office performance has not really been what it's supposed to be. So here are these guys on a bunch of these dudes are doing one of their little shows. I think Critical Drinker's on there. A bunch of the other ones are there. They all kind of have the same narrative. And here they are kind of coping with this recent set of facts. Let's see exactly the nature of their cope, huh?
Timothy Finch says, breaking. Tom Cruise seen desperately calling up Barbie's marketing department to help him advertise Dead Reckoning Part 2 before Paramount cancels it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, that movie is not done as well as people expected.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it has not done as well as people expected, but I wonder if maybe you guys had unreasonably hot. I'm just gonna, let's see, who can I be? I'll just be Mistress Kenwise here, since they're not on camera anyway. I'm just gonna make myself part of the cast. Here I am. I'm on this shit now.
Let me see. Where is it sitting at now?
I was actually gonna say if we could have a look.
So it's 376 million worldwide.
Okay.
But that only goes up to Tuesday, so it's a couple of days behind. But yeah, not great.
Yeah. Oh
Way
man,
below where
that's
it should be.
yeah.
I mean, that'd be a great box office haul if this was a low budget movie or even just like a mid budget movie. But a movie like this is I think it's been out for like a couple weeks now. This is a huge, huge budget movie with a gigantic advertising campaign behind it. So this is a movie that had to make a lot of money, like 800 mil, 900 mil to really make some profit back. And the fact that it's not looking like it's going to get anywhere near that is probably pretty dismal for the studio that made these large investments in the film.
They might be in trouble then, right?
It
It's
could
had,
be.
what, 2-3 weekends?
Yeah.
I mean, this movie was a $300 million movie almost. Like it was an expensive one to make. So this needs to be way up at like.
It needs to have Barbie
900 by the time
numbers.
it's done. Yeah. Surprising.
What did
I don't know why it's fallen short.
It's weird.
Is it the?
I'll explain why it's fallen short. I know why it's fallen short. You guys care? I'll tell you why. Because it's Mission Impossible like 83, and people don't care anymore. People don't give a I stopped going to those Mission Impossible movies a while ago, even though I knew, like, yeah, they're great stunt spectaculars and stuff. Like, just bored of the concept. People just want some goddamn novelty at this point. It's the same reason people have stopped going to Disney movies. It's not because the Disney movies are like, whoa, they're too woke. That's not why America's rejecting these movies. America's rejecting these movies because they're bored of this shit. They want something goddamn different. They're tired of the same old over and over again. And you know what? The Barbie movie might be based on like an existing IP, but it looks a little goddamn different than what we're getting from everybody else. Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, it's a superhero movie, but it looks a little different than what we're being given by everybody else. Movies that have something that stands out about them do well. Nothing stood out about the new Mission Impossible movie. It was like, hey, here it is again. Here's the same old slop you've been fed. They don't want it no more. The American public has at long last gotten sick of it, and it's time for a shake-up.
Is it the rewatch factor? The fact that it's a bit long. A lot of the complaints I saw from people who aren't me were that the pacing was a bit rough.
The movie did not fail because of the pacing, and I can even tell by the expression on some other people's face that they know that ain't it. Come on, you guys know the reason this movie failed, all right? Just admit that nothing has ever failed or succeeded based on its wokeness level. No movie has ever been like, this movie's too woke, I'm not going to see it. This movie's not woke enough, I'm not going to see it. Or I am going to see it because it's so anti-woke. Actually, that might have happened because there are enough gullible dudes out there that will see something just for the sake of it being anti-woke. But no one outside this little bubble of weirdos gives a shit about the wokeness level of a movie. People go see a movie based on whether or not it looks like it's a fun watch. No one gives a shit. If a movie is woke, but it sucks, it's going to flop. If it's woke, but it looks cool, it's probably going to be successful. Or at least find its audience eventually. Good movies tend to either be hits or get success later on down the line. Whereas movies tend to either fall off after the first weekend or they're forgotten a decade later, even if they were liked at the time.
Is that it? Like
sure.
people don't want to rewatch the film because it's a bit too long, or
No movie needs rewatches to be a hit. The problem is not people aren't going to see this movie over and over again. The problem is no one is seeing it in the first, or very few people are seeing it in the first place because they're sick of it. They've seen it. They know what a Mission Impossible movie is at this point. There was nothing about this new one that looked like it was bringing anything new to the table, so no one went and saw it. It's as simple as that.
feels long?
It could be. I mean, it could be that the sheer momentum of things like Barbie and Oppenheimer is just
Okay. Critical drinker, a little bit more honest than his compatriots on the show. It could be that Barbie is such a hit that it could be that the most woke movie that's ever been released on a big budget mainstream level, it could be that that's too big of a hit and it's killing the movie we thought was going to be a hit. It could be that. It could be that our entire narrative is crumbling before our very eyes, you guys.
taking the wind out of their sails as well. People are just going to see those movies.
I just
instead of
never
Mission Impossible.
I never thought that was a thing, that Barbie or Oppenheimer could take audiences away from Mission Impossible. You know, it feels like
You never thought it was a thing, huh? Well, whoops. Maybe you in the wrong business. Maybe media analysis ain't your strong point, brah.
separate areas, but
I agree.
Timothy Finch says, breaking. Tom Cruise seen desperately calling up.
I think that loop back. Yeah, that loop back to the beginning. So that's the whole thing. Oh, man. I guess, don't worry, guys. You know, these guys ultimately, at the end of the day, have nothing to worry about. Because their grift will go on. Evidence doesn't matter to these motherfuckers. Evidence doesn't matter to the audience. There could be a million woke hits. There could be literally a string of woke mega blockbusters that are just beloved films by all Americans except them, and they'd still be like, go woke, go broke. Go woke, go broke. They'd still be doing it. And everyone would be like, yeah. Even if like the evidence for the contrary was just flashing in their face like a big neon sign, they'd still be like, yeah, well, we're not worried about that.